If you were wondering if you should dive into Karin Slaughter's sweltering crime thriller, We Are All Guilty Here, you've clicked on entirely the right video. Congratulations! Now, I'm not going to bog down the beginning of this comprehensive, spoiler-free review with boring book details.
Thank you!
I'm gonna sprinkle those in as I go. With that said, let's get right into it, shall we? Pillar number 1, the opening spark. This book's opening chapter, which is abnormally long, by the way, doesn't knock politely. It kicks the door in and says,
Say hello to my little friend!
I started reading this bad boy on a plane, tired from a long weekend of being in a wedding party, and still couldn't put it down. Speaking of that plane ride, to the guy who brought his barking dog on board, please kindly go and get nice and bent. Now, the novel's beginning effectively flashed warning signals on the invisible area of the light spectrum in a way I've rarely seen before. It gives you just enough to suck you in, but not enough to know exactly what's going on. It was masterfully done, in my opinion. And it's not just what happens, but how it happens, when it happens, who is involved, and why it might be happening.
Alrighty then.
There is so much unspoken and undisclosed history buried in the first chapter that I wondered if I'd accidentally started in the middle of the book. It's a hook with teeth, and it bites early. Pillar number 2, the plot. The plot is paced like a juggernaut on crack. As mentioned, the chapters are long, but the events themselves take place over the course of only a few days, separated by 12 years in the middle. It's a very unique structure with a blistering pace that really focuses on an almost hour-by-hour investigation in the first half and then the second half. The end of the first half, I might add, presents a truly shocking moment in which
Can't triple stamp a double stamp! You can't triple stamp a double stamp, Lloyd! You can't triple stamp a double stamp!
I mean, say what? And that twist is only the beginning. More than once, I had to reread entire paragraphs just to make sure I wasn't dreaming. I can honestly say that every single twist caught me off guard. My hat is off to Karin for her masterful plotting. Obviously, she's known for weaving lots of threads without letting them get tangled up into utter nonsense. And that talent is on full display for all 448 pages of We Are All Guilty Here. If you're looking for plot holes, you might find a hairline crack or two, but to be honest, I didn't find any at all. Pillar number 3, the finale. Just one more chapter became a personal lie I kept telling myself as this story narrowed to a razor-sharp ending. I lost something like 80 pounds because I couldn't break for a meal. The multiple plot lines, characters, and big reveals built to an exhausting, rewarding crescendo that was equal parts dark, triumphant, and shocking. It was like a car flying down a hill with no brakes and a trunk full of dynamite, its driver strapped to the steering wheel and blindfolded. That said, there isn't actually that much action. It's more of a tightening emotional vice that almost manages to completely destroy your faith in humanity. Pillar number 4, the pacing. Think of the pacing as a heartbeat under stress. It starts steady, begins to skip, then races like Seabiscuit unleashed. Karin Slaughter absolutely knows when to linger, letting tension simmer in quiet conversations, and when to throw the pot of now boiling water in her reader's unsuspecting face.
Nice.
I know, that's not a fun image. It was even less fun when I pulled a pot of still cooking hard-boiled eggs onto my face and neck as a 9-year-old doofus. True story. Anyway, We Are All Guilty Here is written with professional ebbs and flows. All highs and no lows doesn't work. Never has. You need slower stretches to allow readers to breathe. Also, without slower scenes, fast scenes get muddled together. Rising and falling waves of intensity are critical to a story's success, and this book rides them like a ship in a Category 5 hurricane. Pillar number 5, the characters and dialogue. Now, maybe I'm reading into something that was pure coincidence, But I spotted a lot of names from the Bible in this story. Jude, Adam, Paul, Martha, Tommy, Hannah, Esther, Ruth, Elijah, Jonah. I mean, that can't be a coincidence, right? If it's not a coincidence, I can't help but wonder if Karin was going for a subliminal message about good and evil, because oh boy were there some evil characters. Like, seriously evil. As in, a few of them would make the devil cringe. Keep that in mind if you're thinking about reading this one, but more on that in pillar number 7. Overall, the characters felt like the sorts of people you could run into at your local Dollar Tree. They're layered, flawed, have shared histories with each other, and have their own ways of talking, coping, and interacting. The dialogue is sharp without being theatrical, and the subtext was top-tier stuff. As with all good novels, no one ever says exactly what they mean, which is exactly the point. Pillar number 6, the setting. The sweltering, rural Georgia setting isn't just a backdrop, it's an accomplice. But the state and physical setting is only a piece of it. The overall atmosphere is quintessential slaughter.
I slaughtered a man! Just like a pig! Put him on a spit, put an apple in his mouth!
Featuring a tight-knit community where everyone's personal, private business is nothing more than a topic for gossip. The closed-off community of North Falls definitely complements the story's themes of secrecy and shared guilt. And combined with a bit of class warfare, the stage is ripe for all kinds of drama, infighting, and shocking betrayals. I honestly can't imagine working a stressful job like law enforcement in the heat and humidity depicted in this story. I've been to Georgia a few times, and yeah, it's brutal. And you might be interested to know that Karin lives in Atlanta, so it makes sense that she would base the story in a place she's familiar with. Pillar number 7, the content. Okay, so this is the one area where I think the novel suffers. Aside from pervasive language,
what's your profanity?
Graphic violence, and other elements that are typical of Miss Slaughter, there are also seriously triggering topics, such as, but not limited to, child teenagers, of minors, psychological, parental, and so, now you know. I mean, it is a story about bringing monsters to justice, which is, unfortunately, a real thing in this world. But, dang. Thankfully, most of the explicit moments are not depicted in detail, but dang. Just be aware, I guess. I mean, Slaughter is known for writing dark stories, so if you're hoping for a cozy mystery, keep on shopping. It can be a bit much for some people. Pillar number 8, the research. For the most part, I could tell that Karin consulted with people who really knew their stuff and added lots of accurate facts to the story. But apparently, she talked to exactly no one who understands slug slingers. For instance, there's a moment where she says something along the lines of, the hammer dropped and the Glock fired. Okay, Glocks don't have hammers. They are striker-fired pistols. So that was factually incorrect. And I'm sure someone out there is going to argue that the character just didn't know better. Unreliable narrator, so to speak. But Emmy is a cop and spends a substantial amount of time around guns, so she would absolutely know better. Also, it is highly unlikely that a .22 bullet would break ribs upon striking body armor, unless said body armor was weak and improperly fitted, which no cop worth her salt would allow. If we were talking a .45 or a 10mm, yes, ribs are often broken when sustaining direct shots to body armor. A .22 just doesn't generate that amount of force. Those issues aside, the procedural and psychological elements of serial killers and law enforcement were pretty well grounded. Slaughter has a knack for making police, investigative work, and human behavior ring true without bogging things down with textbook level detail. And pillar number 9, the packaging. The title alone, We Are All Guilty here does a lot of the heavy lifting, and without giving anything away, I would say yes, it delivers on its promise. It literally plants a question in your mind before page 1. Who's we? The mysterious cover and intriguing description also lean into the novel's ominous, almost surreal aura, with the cover's monochromatic colors, silhouette of a girl on a bike, and sparks, or perhaps fireflies. It stood out to me when I was browsing for my next read and convinced me to pull the trigger. Not an easy thing to do these days. So yes, like most novels released under publisher William Morrow, it stands out and holds its ground in its weight class, especially compared to the thousands of other thriller novels out there these days. The final verdict. This is a gripping, character-driven psych thriller that hyper-focuses on a handful of days and characters. I appreciated that it didn't just ask, who did it? It asks, who didn't stop it? Who shares blame? And how do people deal with different levels and forms of blame? If you enjoy stories where everyone's fingerprints are on the crime scene, even if they never touched the weapon, this one will keep you turning pages long past your better judgment. You're welcome.